Welcome back. Today we are doing baseboards. I already have the baseboards on the front side of this wall, and I just have to extend it around this side and then around the corner over there. So the way that I'm going to do this first is this wall is greater than 8 foot, and my trim board is 8 foot. So I know that I'm already going to have to use 2 boards. So I'm not even going to measure it because I don't need the measurement right now. I'm going to take my trim piece and I'm going to cut this at a 90 or a 45 degree angle so it butts right up right here. And then I'm also going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to put that side at a 45 degree angle because where it butts up, we want 2 45s there. And I'll explain that as we go back to the table saw and how I'm going to cut that. Another thing to look for when you are doing trim work, you can see that this edge is a square edge. That goes on the floor. This edge is the side that you want up because it's rounded right there. Obviously this is not going to work against this angle, so we have to do the 45 miter in the opposite direction. So I moved my saw in the house so that way I can use it right in here, and I just have it hooked up right to my shop vac so that I am able to bring it in the house and it's not like blowing dust everywhere. But to start, so we need a 45 degree angle and we need that beveled edge on the trim piece. We want that going away from the table saw. There's 2 ways that you could cut this. You could turn your whole table saw at a 45 like this and cut it this way for your beveled cut. However, this saw is not deep enough to get all the way through this board. So that is not an option for this size saw. So I'm going to bring it back to 0 and I'm going to release this lever here and I'm going to bevel it at 45. And that is why it is important that I have the top part of this trim on the outside, because this is going to be the side that butts up to that corner like this. So I need that cut going this direction. And if you're not sure on the angles or you're getting confused on it, unplug your saw. In fact, I'll show you that. Unplug your saw and move this down, and you can see at what angle it's going to cut on the board. So I can see that it's going to cut this way, which is the exact angle that I want on there. So I'm good to go. Then I can plug my saw back in. Okay. Now you can see here that I have that angle that I want to butt up to that next one over there. Now here's where it's going to get a little bit tricky for the wall. This is an 8 foot board and the wall is, I think, like 8.5 feet. So I'm not just going to put this board on, I'm actually going to bevel it one more time, and I can bevel it the same direction, it doesn't matter on this first board. And I'm going to go about right here, and I'm going to do it in the same angle. And then this is going to be the board that I use up against here. Just like that. So you can see when this board is on the actual ground underneath here, it does not line up because it falls in the gap. So the way that I have to nail it is I have to make sure that it's level up here. I'm just going to put one brad nail in here to make sure it stays, and then I can make sure the other side is level. And I know that there's a stud right here, so I'm just going to nail it right into that stud. And if you're not sure if you're doing it right, you can always get a little piece of the flooring and stick it in there so that you can rest it right on. And then I also know that there's a stud. I mean, you can see it down here. But there's a stud that this is attached to, so the stud goes all the way across. So I can run my nails right through there, and they're going to be hidden because I'm going to have another trim piece there. We got one piece on, and now the reason that I did that, because now I can grab another piece of trim and see how this, when this gets right up to it, there's not going to be any kind of seam right there. This is falling in the crack. There. See how nice that seam is? Where if I butt cut it, then you're gonna have a lot more wood filling to fill. Where this makes it just a really nice, seamless, easy to wood fill. But now this board, you can see on that end, it is too short. So I am going to get a new piece of board put it on a 45-degree angle, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So I just grabbed my new 8-foot trim board, and I did the same thing. I got the rounded edge on this outside, it's beveled. I'm going to make one cut, and then I'm going to put up to the wall, and I'm going to show you how to make that other 95 or 45-degree angle. So this is that new 8-foot piece. I cut it on that beveled angle. I'm going to line it up right here. Like that. And then I'm going to travel all the way down to the end. And then I'm going to mark on this back side here a straight line. And then I'm going to mark on the top here so I remember the angle's got to go this way. And then I can take that back to my saw. Okay, so now I'm back at my saw. I'm going to flip this around. This is the mark that I made on the back side. That is the angle that I made on the top. So right now, when I cut it, it's going to cut on that perfect angle that I need. So I don't have to switch the board around or anything. I can just line up my saw blade. I can mark up my saw blade on the right side of this line. So the teeth, the width of the teeth, I want it to be on this side of the line. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with the board that I just cut. I'm going to line it up right here, make sure that it's flush on the top and on the face. There. And basically I'm just checking and making sure that this is fairly smooth. Smooth enough that I can wood fill and sand any imperfections out. I feel like that's pretty good right there. That same process when I come right around the side right here. I'm going to do the same thing, 45-degree angle, measure it, and then when I get to this piece of trim right here, I'm going to do just a 0-degree butt cut right there, so it butts right up against that piece. Now I have my 1 1/4 inch quarter round, let's say, but it's square, and that's just going to be the outside layer of this one. So I'm basically going to do the exact same thing as I did here, but with this one. So I'm going to start with my 45-degree that I'm going to butt up on that side, and then we'll slice it out of 45, butt them up for a nice seam, and then do the same thing on the outside. So you can see here, this is my seam from before. This piece is going to have a different seam. And it's total preference, but I prefer them not to have the same seam because then it's going to be a very clear line of where everything starts and ends. Where if you kind of stagger them, I feel like it blends in a little bit more. So I'm going to take this piece and line it right up here on the edge. And this isn't going to line up perfectly because it's almost, this piece is a little bit short. But I'll be able to wood fill that all. Okay, and that's it. We are done. What I would do now is I would continue it around the corner just how I did here, but that way. And then I would just take spackling or wood filler. I probably use wood filler here. Would fill these holes, and then I would take caulk and run caulk all the way down here and here. Would fill these joints, and then we're ready for paint. You can see I have gaps here and I have cut marks here. This is because this is my first time moving a wall and I cut too far out. So there's really nothing I can do about that right now, but we are getting new flooring in the next 6 months. So with my new flooring, I'll be able to slide the new flooring right underneath there like that. So the gap is only gonna be temporary for now.